It was a bright, sunny morning in Abaddon. The streets buzzed with movement, vendors setting up stalls, taxis honking, and people rushing to work. Everything seemed ordinary until cars suddenly screeched to a stop. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. Right in the middle of the road stood a thin, dirty dog. He limped badly, and his white fur was matted with dirt and dried mud. But what froze everyone was what hung from his mouth, a piece of cloth. Blood-stained, torn. His eyes darted from car to car, wide and desperate. Drivers honked their horns, but the dog didn't move. One woman rolled down her window and gasped. "Wait, look at that cloth," she shouted. Another man stepped out of his car. "That looks like a child's pajama sleeve," he muttered, eyes narrowing. The cloth was small, printed with cartoon stars and moons and soaked in fresh blood. Traffic backed up, and someone dialed the police. When Officer Tunji Bello arrived, the dog was still there, standing guard over the cloth. His tail didn't wag. His body was tense, eyes fixed on everyone who came close. Tunji crouched slowly. "Easy, boy. We're here to help," he said gently. The dog barked once, sharp and urgent, then limped away, glancing back over his shoulder. "Is he leading us?" asked Sergeant Ada Nwosu. Tunji gave the order, "Follow him." They didn't know what they were chasing, but something about the dog's behavior felt purposeful. The blood, the sleeve, it couldn't be coincidence. Dispatch confirmed a missing boy, 8-year-old Toby Aliyinka, last seen in his pajamas 2 days ago. No leads. Until now. The dog led the team through winding back streets, over puddles and past rusted fences. He moved with difficulty, but never stopped. Every few steps, he would pause and look back, making sure the officers were still behind him. "It's like he knows where he's going," Ada whispered. Tunji nodded. "And he's making sure we don't get lost." The officers exchanged uneasy glances. It was surreal, being led by a stray with such urgency. They passed abandoned lots and heaps of trash. "He's limping worse," someone said, worried. But the dog pressed on, stubborn and determined. Finally, the dog stopped in front of a crumbling old house at the edge of town. The windows were boarded up, and weeds had overtaken a yard. Paint peeled off in long strips, and the air around the place felt heavy. "Nobody's lived here in years," one officer muttered. But the dog barked loudly, clawing at the front steps with both paws. "This is it," Tunji said. They pried the door open with a crowbar. Inside, sunlight slipped through cracks in the wooden walls. The air was thick and silent. "Spread out," Tunji commanded. "Search every corner." The house groaned under their weight as they moved carefully through the rooms. It was dusty and forgotten, the smell of mildew clinging to the walls. Then Officer Ada spotted something near the back of the room, a wooden floor panel slightly out of place. "Over here," she called. Tunji rushed over and helped lift it. Beneath, a narrow staircase led into darkness. "Basement," he said. They drew their flashlights and descended. The stairs creaked with every step. "Do you hear that?" Ada asked, a faint whimper. Everyone froze. "Down there," Tunji whispered. They moved faster now, hearts pounding. In the corner of the basement, curled up and barely breathing, was a small boy. His wrists were tied. A strip of duct tape clung to his neck. It was Toby, alive but barely. Tunji dropped to his knees. "Toby? Toby, can you hear me?" he said gently, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. Toby flinched at first, then his eyes fluttered open. He was weak, barely able to nod. Ada pulled out a pocket knife and cut the ropes from his wrists. "We've got you, sweetheart," she whispered. The other officers stood silently, watching with tears in their eyes. The boy had bruises on his face and arms. His lips were dry, and his pajamas were dirty and torn. But he was alive. "We need an ambulance now," Tunji said into his radio. Ada cradled the boy carefully, wrapping her jacket around him. "You're safe now. You're safe." They carried Toby up the stairs into the daylight. The dog followed them, his eyes never leaving the boy. He stayed close as they laid Toby on the grass outside. The boy blinked up at the sky, tears rolling down his cheeks. "It's over," Ada said softly, brushing his hair back. The ambulance arrived with sirens screaming. Paramedics rushed over, taking his vitals and lifting him onto a stretcher. Toby's hand suddenly reached out, weak but determined, and grabbed hold of the dog's fur. "Don't leave him," he whispered. The dog sat down beside him, his ears perked up and tail twitching nervously. At the hospital, Toby was taken straight to the emergency unit. Doctors worked quickly to rehydrate him, treat his wounds, and run tests. Meanwhile, Officer Ada stayed with him. She sat beside the hospital bed, holding his small hand. "You're very brave, Toby," she said. After a few hours, he stabilized. The doctor gave a soft smile. "He'll be all right. He just needs rest." When Toby finally opened his eyes again, Ada leaned in gently. "Can you tell me what happened, sweetheart?" she asked. The boy hesitated, then whispered, "I was taken by a man. I don't know him. He locked me in the basement." Toby continued slowly, his voice barely above a whisper. "I tried to scream, but no one heard me. Then one day, I saw a little crack in the floor. I tore my sleeve on a pipe. I pushed it through, hoping someone would see it." Ada's throat tightened. "That cloth, that's how we found you." The boy's eyes filled with tears. "I prayed someone would come. I didn't know it would be a dog." He paused, then smiled faintly. "He stayed outside. I heard him bark once. After that, I wasn't scared anymore." Ada squeezed his hand. "That dog is the reason you're alive." Back at the station, officers ran background checks. The abandoned house was once owned by a former school janitor named Babasei. He had been fired 3 years ago for misconduct. Since then, he'd moved around, never staying long. One officer found a report from a nearby town. Another child had gone missing for 2 days but was found wandering, too young to explain what had happened. "It's him," Tunji said. "He's been doing this." Babasei had vanished the night before. A manhunt was launched, but he was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, something unexpected began to happen. People started gathering. It started with a single mother and her 2 daughters who brought a small basket of fruit. Then came an old man holding a flower in a plastic bag. By the next morning, over 50 people had gathered outside the hospital. They came quietly, not to crowd or demand attention, but to show support. Word had spread across town about a little boy found alive and the stray dog who led police to him. Reporters showed up with cameras. Headlines flashed. "Hero dog leads police to missing child." Tunji and Ada watched from the lobby window. "I've never seen anything like this," Ada murmured. Inside the ward, Toby was sitting up now, eating porridge slowly. His father, Mr. Olayinka, sat beside him with eyes full of gratitude and sadness. His mother, Mrs. Olayinka, held his hand tightly and didn't let go. "You scared us, my baby," she whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I didn't think I'd see you again." Toby didn't say much. He kept looking at the door, waiting. When Ada entered, he smiled. "Where's the dog?" he asked. "He's outside. They want to take him to animal control," she answered gently. Toby's eyes widened. "No," he said firmly. "He's mine. He saved me." Animal control officers stood in the parking lot beside a van. The dog sat a few meters away, not running, not growling, just watching. One officer sighed. "He's calm, but he's still a stray. He needs to be checked and maybe quarantined." Tunji approached them. "He's not just any stray. That dog saved a child. Let's handle this with care." As they debated, the hospital doors opened. Toby, with help from his mother, slowly walked outside. The crowd went quiet. The boy didn't say anything. He knelt beside the dog and wrapped his arms around him. "His name is Buddy," he said. The name stuck. From that moment, everyone called the dog Buddy. Toby refused to let anyone take him away. "He's my dog now," he insisted. "He found me. He protected me." The doctors were hesitant, but Toby's parents didn't need convincing. If this dog helped bring our son back, then he belongs with us, Mr. Olayinka declared. The vet came to examine Buddy at the hospital. He's underweight, has a limp from an old injury, and he's been on the streets too long, she said. But with care, he'll be just fine. The boy stroked Buddy's fur gently. We'll take care of him. Later that day, a nurse wheeled Toby to a hospital window. Outside, more people had gathered. Some held balloons. Others brought pet food and gifts. Buddy sat proudly beside the glass, his tail wagging slowly. He's famous now, Ada said with a smile. Toby giggled. He's a hero. A local reporter approached the family. Can we share your story? He asked. Mr. Olayinka nodded. If it helps people believe in kindness again, go ahead. That evening, the news aired a full segment. Pictures of Buddy. Footage of officers entering the abandoned house. Toby's name. But at the center of it all, one limping dog with brave eyes. By the next morning, the hospital's front lawn looked like a festival. Families came with their children, carrying hand-drawn cards that said, "Thank you, Buddy." Someone made a cardboard sign that read, "Miracle Dog of Abaddon." Buddy didn't bark or fuss. He sat quietly beside Toby's wheelchair, eyes calm, his body finally relaxed. It was hard to believe this was the same dog who had stood trembling in traffic just days ago. Ada crouched beside him and scratched his ear. You've got quite the fan club now. Toby grinned. He deserves it. Nobody else heard me, but he did. The mayor of the city called a press conference. She stood on the hospital steps with Ada, Tunji, and the Olayinka family beside her. Today we honor an unlikely hero, the mayor said. This dog, now named Buddy, showed more courage and heart than many humans ever do. The crowd cheered. Cameras flashed. Buddy, wearing a red ribbon around his neck, blinked in confusion but stayed still. We also thank our brave officers, she continued, who followed the dog's lead without hesitation. Toby leaned over and whispered, Buddy doesn't like cameras. He likes biscuits. Everyone laughed. That night, the Olayinkas brought Buddy home. They gave him a bath, laid out a blanket in the living room, and poured a bowl of warm food. Toby sat on the floor in his pajamas, one sleeve stitched where it had been torn. This is your home now, okay, he said softly. Buddy lay beside him and rested his head on the boy's lap. Mrs. Olayinka watched them, her eyes filled with emotion. That dog never once looked away from him, even at the hospital. Mr. Olayinka nodded. It's like he knew Toby needed him. Later, as Toby slept, Buddy stayed by the door of his bedroom, refusing to leave. The house was quiet, the street outside calm. Mr. Olayinka stood in the hallway watching. He's really guarding him, he whispered to his wife, like it's his duty now. She nodded slowly. It's more than duty. It's connection. She knelt and reached out to Buddy. You can rest too, boy. He's safe now. But Buddy didn't move. His ears stayed alert. His eyes never left the door. It wasn't fear anymore, it was loyalty. Deep, silent, and unshakable. The next day, Toby returned to the police station to thank the officers. He brought Buddy with him, wearing a bright blue leash and a matching collar. I wanted you to see he's okay now, Toby told Ada and Tunji. The officers bent down to pet Buddy. Looks like he's gaining weight already, Tunji smiled. And walking better, Ada added. Yeah, Toby said proudly. We got him special food, and I gave him a soft pillow. He snores really loud though. Everyone laughed. Ada looked at him kindly. You're both survivors, Toby, and now you have each other. The police kept searching for Baba Sai, the man who had taken Toby. They checked old addresses, questioned neighbors, even spoke to his relatives. But it was like he had vanished. He knew the heat would come down fast, Tunji told Ada one afternoon. He's hiding, but not for long. Meanwhile, Toby started therapy sessions at the hospital. The trauma had left marks, but with every passing day, his smile returned a little more. And Buddy was always there, at his feet, on his lap, or sitting patiently outside the door. He waits like he understands everything, the therapist once said, amazed. A week later, Toby stood in front of his class at school, Buddy sitting beside him. His teacher, Miss Grace, had invited him to share his story. "This is Buddy," Toby said proudly. "He found me when nobody else could." Some kids clapped, others asked questions. "Was he scary? Did you cry a lot?" Toby answered honestly, "I was scared, but Buddy wasn't. He barked so someone would come. I think God sent him." The classroom was quiet for a moment. Then one girl whispered, "That's the bravest dog in the world." Buddy sneezed loudly. Everyone laughed. That afternoon, Tunji and Ada dropped by the Olyinka's home. They brought a small wooden plaque that read, "In honor of Buddy, our four-legged hero." "It's not official police property," Tunji joked, "but it's from our hearts." Toby took it with both hands. "Thank you." He looked up at Buddy. "See? They believe in you too." Buddy wagged his tail and leaned his head against Toby's side. Ada crouched beside them. "We followed him that day not because we had proof, but because he believed something was wrong. And he didn't stop until we listened." That evening, Toby sat on the porch with Buddy, curled up next to him. The sun dipped low, painting the sky orange and pink. "You were all alone out there," Toby whispered. "No one gave you food. No one gave you a name." He stroked Buddy's fur. "But you found me. You didn't even know me and still you came." The dog blinked up at him, calm and steady. "I'll never let you be alone again," Toby promised. "You're not a stray anymore. You're family." The Olyinkas printed a large photo of Toby and Buddy and hung it in their living room. Underneath it, in bold letters, were the words, "Miracles come on four legs." People still stopped them on the street, offering gifts or taking pictures. But Toby never bragged. But he didn't do it for fame, he always said. He did it because he knew I needed him. At night, Toby still had nightmares sometimes. But when he woke up, Buddy was there. Always there. That comfort, that quiet loyalty was worth more than words. One day, months later, Ada received a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single sentence written in messy handwriting. "That dog ruined everything." The letter was signed only with the letter S. Ada handed it to Tunji. "He's still out there." Tunji's eyes darkened. "Yes, but now he knows we're watching. And Toby isn't alone anymore." They tightened security around the school and the neighborhood. Toby wasn't told about the letter. There was no need. He had already fought his battle and won. The years passed, and the story of the stray dog who saved a boy became a local legend. Books were written. A children's park was named after Buddy. But for the Olyinkas, it was never about the fame. It was about the bond between a boy and a dog who found each other when they were both lost. On Buddy's first birthday with the family, Toby made him a cake out of beef and rice. "Happy birthday, best friend," he said, placing the little party hat on Buddy's head. Buddy ate happily, tail wagging like a drum. Sometimes people still asked, "Do you think it was just luck?" And every time, Toby would shake his head and say no. It was a miracle. Because it was. Not just that he was found, but how he was found. A blood-stained cloth. A silent plea. And a limping dog who refused to walk away. Buddy wasn't just a pet. He was proof that courage can come in the most unexpected form, and that even those forgotten by the world can become someone's guardian angel. And from that day on, Buddy never left Toby's side. Not once. Like and subscribe to my channel for more contents like this, and let us know where you are watching from under the comment section.